Welcome back to the Oracle of Enlightenment as we continue with Origins. And we're here with Mr. Shane Hensley, the gaming guest of honor. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good. What would you like to start off with?
I think probably what most people are going to be interested in hearing about is Savage Worlds Deluxe. We have a role-playing game called Savage Worlds that's been it's been just incredibly popular over the last 9 years now, I guess. And we did quite well with it when it came out the gate, and then about 3 or 4 years ago, we did a $10 full-color rulebook version, and then sales just exploded after that. So now we have all these people in the game and are playing and are wanting a little more, so we're doing something called Savage Worlds Deluxe. It's not a new edition, the rules didn't really change, but there's lots of neat new stuff in there, like dramatic conflicts, which lets you do things like defuse a bomb in a game that has a little more drama and tension than just making a die roll. Or interludes, which lets you look at kind of the small talk and background of your character more so than just running around fighting everything all the time, which we also do quite well.
I see. Did you want to mention Zombie Pirates? I heard that was popular.
Zombie Pirates, yeah, that was a blast. That was a small casual computer game we did. My day job is in computer games. I work at Cryptic Studios. Zombie Pirates is a kind of a mobile tower defense game, a lot like Plants vs. Zombies, but with zombies and pirates, obviously. And I think probably there's two things I'm really proud of with that one are the gameplay. I think it plays really, really well. And I think it actually has just a fantastic story that me and the rest of the guys at Dust Devil put together. I'm really proud of it, and people who play it all the way through get to see the big ending and are pretty happy with it.
And what about City of Heroes and City of Villains?
City of Heroes and City of Villains is where I started in the computer game industry. And that was with Cryptic Studios at the time, that's since been purchased by Paragon. I went off to go do a MMO based on my property, Deadlands, for a few years, and unfortunately the parent company went out of business. So I came back to Cryptic Studios, and I'm now working on Neverwinter, which is based on Dungeons & Dragons and Forgotten Realms, of course.
Yes. What's it like working on the great Dungeons & Dragons? It's been around for how long?
Oh, yeah, it's a challenge, right? Because people have so many different expectations and such high expectations. And we endeavor very hard to meet them. And we're all gamers, so we want to be true to them and still make a great computer game for people who aren't necessarily Dungeons & Dragons fans. And walking that line is really tough, but I think we have just a great team doing it. So we'll let the listeners judge for themselves when it come out, but we are certainly trying for that.
So you've done Deadlands, Hell on Earth, Weird Wars, and Savage Worlds. Is there anyone that's particularly your favorite?
Ooh, favorite is tough. Certainly our most successful is Deadlands, and that's what I'm known best for, and I do love it. If I had to pick a favorite, it might be 50 Fathoms. It's kind of Pirates of the Caribbean meets Pirates of Darkwater, for those who are familiar with that. And we actually have a new version of that coming out that is in our 9x6 size, full color, just gorgeously illustrated by Hugo Award-winning colorist Cheyenne Wright.
Very nice. Now, you've worked for TRS, White Wolf, West End Games. What's it been like working for every major game distributor?
Each one is a different story, right? And I loved working for all of them. TSR, I got to work on Dark Sun and Ravenloft. West End Games, I got to work on Torg and Shatterzone. And I, like most gamers or geeks these days, I have lots of different interests, and being able to work on lots of different projects is just fantastic. It's one of the things I like about Savage Worlds is we have all these different settings, so I'm not always stuck just doing Deadlands or Hell on Earth or one particular setting as much as I may love any of them. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Exactly. Now, what do you find easiest to design, your card games, miniature games, or computer games?
I think miniatures are probably the easiest for me to design. It's kind of where I started and what comes most naturally to me. Computer games are, when it's a small project like Zombie Pirates, I find it fairly easy as well. When it's something as big as Neverwinter, which is we're a team of 45 or 50 plus some core tech guys, that's much tougher because you have to manage a lot of different visions, all of which are good and strong, and try to find the right one for the game that's really going to match the consumer's expectations.
I see. What got you into designing games?
Great question. So, like everybody, I played D&D in high school and wrote my own adventures, and people seem to like them. And I guess I've told this story 3 times today, but starting professionally, I used to make a big deal out of our Halloween games in college. So I did that for a game called Torg, and everybody liked it well enough that they encouraged me to send it in to West End Games, which I did. And Greg Gordon, who was the editor at the time, sent me a bunch of notes and told me to fix these things up and maybe he'd look at it again. I did all those edits, and his reaction was, wow, nobody ever does my edits. And so I guess, being somewhat professional was a leg up, and he published it, and it just took off from there.
Very cool. Now, you've also written several novels and books and things?
I have, yep. I've written 3 novels, a whole bunch of short stories, and then lots of fiction for various game books that we've done and so forth. I love writing fiction. I love writing novels. I think people don't understand how hard it is to write a novel. 100,000 words is a long time. That's what most of them tend to be.
What are the names of your 3 novels?
The first one I did was called Soul Survivor, which was for a game called Shatter Zone from West End Games. The second was World of Aiden Darkfall, which was for SSI, a computer game company. And the third was Blood of Tarion, which was for Blood Shadows from West End Games.
I see. And how many short stories?
Oh, I don't know, a couple dozen probably.
Do you have any specific names you want to mention?
Sure. One of them comes from the Deadlands anthology that we spread out. It's called Hate. And actually, I'm pretty proud of that one. And if you ever read it, the main character is pretty much me. I'm not a hateful person other than despite the title of that particular tale. But that was pretty interesting to me. And there is a story in the back of that same anthology. I don't recall the name all of a sudden. But it was about a nightmare I had that I woke up to, and something very real happened, and that is actually a true story as well. So if you ever get a hold of those, it's interesting.
I see. And you've written for game books, too?
You mean like hint guides and so forth?
Yeah.
I did the hint guides for City of Heroes and City of Villains. Let me rephrase that a bit. Somebody else wrote them, and then I had to go in and do all the editing and rewriting because he didn't have access to what we were actually doing in studio.
I see. Okay, is there any other projects you'd like to speak about?
I'm really excited with all the stuff we're doing for Deadlands. For those who are listening for that, we have all the plot point books, which tell the story in a way that player characters get to interact with the big backstory. I'm really proud of the way we do that, and I think those will be coming out this year and next. So if you are a Deadlands fan, check our website, deadlands.com, and find out all about it.
All right. So do you have any other websites you wanted to parse?
That'll do it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks.
Shane Hensley, everyone.